All right. Festering insecurity in Nigeria has put the country in a desperate situation that requires desperate measures to tackle. As such, the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria has called for the review of the 1999 Constitution to grant more powers to the state governors in controlling security affairs of their states. In a communique issued at the end of the annual conference, the Council urged the federal government to end the prevailing insecurity in the country. Jide, do you agree with the Sharia Council, Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, that the state governors should be given more powers?
To an extent, yes. To an extent, yes. If you look at the way the policing structure in our country is at this time, the central policing arrangement that we have cannot secure our country. It's a waste of time to think that things will improve if we don't do something drastic. Across the states, what I see is a situation in which the governors are called chief security officers of their states, but they are actually chief security logistics officers of their states. Without those vehicles that the state governments provide the police, I doubt if the police can move in most states. Most police divisions, they have no fuel to fuel their trucks to move around. In most police divisions, many of their vehicles are disused, they are grounded. So they rely heavily on the state governments to supply them with hillocks, vans, and even equipment that they need to work with, gadgets and all that. Yet, the police commissioner in the state is not subject to the control of the governor of the state. He can't give him instruction. He takes his instruction from Abuja. During the riots in some states in northern Nigeria, some governors complained that some of the steps that they first should have been taken to bring the riots to an end were not taken. And that when they complained, the commissioners of police chose not to listen to them. By the structure, is not obligated to listen to the governor. So I think that in the final analysis, whether we like it or not as a country, we will still come to this state policing. Many years ago, I didn't believe in it. But before my eyes, I can see that this central policing structure will not deliver the goods. It's not delivering the goods, and it will not deliver the goods. Secondly, when a state wants to import drones, unmanned area vehicles to scan its forests, to scan the dangerous areas where there are bandits and all that, you have to go through the office of the National Security Advisor. It's the National Security Advisor that will give you the permission to import those drones. If a state cannot buy ordinary drones that it can use to monitor its area, its land area, then what kind of chief security officer are they? Why are we calling them chief security officers of their states? Well, is it just because they collect security votes? You can have all the money, but if you don't have control, what do you have? So I think that, to an extent, those governors need some control. And I think this is the point that the Sharia Council is making, because we cannot protect our states effectively under the current arrangement. Look at Amotekun. Look at civilian JTF. They've shown that they can stand the test. I'm telling you, if Amotekun had the kind of weapons at the disposal of the bandits, the whole of the Southwest will be far better protected than it is currently. But they are not even allowed to carry such weapons. Nobody will allow Amotekun to carry AK-47. Whereas the enemy that they confront have even RPGs. They have not just AK-47, they have AK-49. They have machine guns. So when they are talking about more powers, I think they are referring to some of these issues that I have raised. The governors need some level of control for them to better protect their state. We are quick to abuse them, but where a governor cannot even direct the police commissioner in the state, or even the soldier, the army officer commanding the military base in the state, when they can't even advise, they can't talk to him, then what powers do they have as governors? I think an amendment has to happen which will give more powers to governors in the area of security.
When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back after this time out. Don't go away, please.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective, covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Lagos is the most visited state in Africa as the 5th largest economy on the continent. Covering the state and its government is no mere feat, it's a busy beat. We go beyond the curtain of taste to travel in far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos state government for the healthcare facility.
To bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
We tell you stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout on Sunday, and we just the second half of the program, and we are talking about decentralization of the security system. Wale, this has been, at least in the last 1 decade, it has been at the front burner of discussion when talking about security, that it should be decentralized and the way it is, but we've not done anything about amending the Constitution to effect this decentralization.
This debate has been ongoing, perhaps even before 1960. The kind of structure that we need to have, because the colonial masters thought that federalism was what was good for us. Bodilon in 1939 introduced the concept of federalism in Nigeria. And then the Richardson Constitution in 1946 came up with federalism as the best solution to a plural society that has, multiplicity of nations. But suddenly, we begin to have military intervention and all that, and that concept was distorted. And you will see that since that time, Nigeria has been a kind of speedy, in a state of speedy retrogression. When we were having the 3 regions, that was greater autonomy. people were able to develop, regions were able to develop based on their own subjective and objective conditions. And the people that told us to adopt federalism from the US, they didn't copy federalism to the latter. Because in the US, the idea of federalism was developed in order to avoid tyranny, to create checks and balances, and to ensure that no arm of government is too powerful to be able to subvert the order. And that states should serve as centers of experiments, where people can creative ideas. That is why when we are talking about security, when we are talking about mineral exploration, the states in the US, have a lot of autonomy, especially when it has to do with security. And even China, Russia, former communist state, Russia has, I think, about 21 republics in today's Russia and 9 territories. In China, China has 5 autonomous regions created for ethnic groups that do not belong to the majority ethnic class. So this debate has been going on, and I'm happy that a conservative organization like the Sharia Council is gradually coming to the reality that we cannot continue with the garrison structure of Nigeria. And that's why I'm happy that they didn't speak explicitly about what they actually want, but what they are saying, their states should have more power, which is the same thing I've been saying over the years. You cannot continue to run this state as a unitary democracy. States must have some level of power to control security, to control, their areas of jurisdiction. States don't have control over the police. The communities don't have. In fact, the police, they see themselves as alien forces in their own territories, and that's why there's little cooperation between communities and the policemen. There is a kind of generation gap between the police and the people that they are supposed to govern. So I think we have come to a stage that we need to take the bull by the horn. We need to set in motion, where a bill will be presented into the National Assembly to decentralize security so that we can have a more prosperous and peaceful country.
We have Eli calling from Plateau Jos. Oh, we missed that. So, debate is ongoing, and the way it is not just working. And
yes, I know we have the need for political reforms, but also the governors should make use of the powers they currently wield. Part of the problem you have, concerning crime, is that you have a lot of ungoverned spaces, a lot of poorly developed areas, a lot of slums, so many slums, forests that are just left. People can just do anything with those forests. Go into forests, you see people, somebody can just...
As a result of being under police.
Do the governors even care? Do you extend development to those areas? Is it not private developers who go into some of these areas and open up those areas? Do the governors care? Do they care to take roads, schools, and all those things to all those areas? That's part of the problem. You should extend development to as far and wide as possible. Yes, we know we're talking about the need for state police. That is one side of the argument. The other side of the argument has to do with also development. You have to make the people, the community, the members of the communities, they also have to be stakeholders in security. While we're trying to sort out the issue of reforms, the people must also have what we call stakeholder engagement. They must also be involved in whatever you are doing so that they can help you in terms of information, intelligence gathering, and all of those things. Because even if you set up state police, how far can you go if you still have ungoverned spaces? Many of the problems we have in Nigeria about security come from the forest. Bandits occupying the forest, bandits occupying the highways, bandits coming from the forest into the cities, into villages to kidnap. And the forests are actually under the control of the governors. Even as at 2021, the federal government admitted, yes, the forests are under the control of the governors. But the point is that I know the governors lack the capacity to effectively police the forest. So government should do something very seriously and urgently in that regard. Let this forest, let control, let the governors take effective control of the forest so that we can nip this problem this problem of banditry. We make sure that no forest is even habitable for any bandits. And then illegal miners, all these illegal miners, illegal loggers, there must be definite action against all these things. It's not paying us. That's why we also talk about restructuring. Some more power should be given to the state to control some of these resources. So it's not just some illegal aliens just coming because they have some contacts in the federal government. They can just give them one area to go and take. And the governor of the state does not know about it. The local government, the chairman of the local government does not know anything about it. We really need serious reforms in this country.
All right, moving on now, still on security.